Good afternoon, and welcome to Man Cave Meditations. Let's dive in. So, as I've said in so many videos before, this is it's intensifying. I've said it so many times. Again, I can't even remember how many times I've said it, but every time that I've said it, the situation has accelerated to a degree more than the last time I had made a video saying the same thing, which is per the definition of acceleration, right? It's not maintaining the same. It's like going down a hill. That's what it feels like we're doing. We're just going down a hill and just gaining steam as we go. And just waiting for something to either stop us so we run into an immovable object, right? We just end up going, flat for a while and end up, friction takes hold and we stop. I mean, it feels like we're going to hit something as we go down this hill. That's what it feels like. We're going to hit something. I don't mean that like in a negative way, like an apocalyptic way. I mean, it's accelerating towards something. And I feel, no proof, feeling, intuitively, I feel that it's, there's a major health, something's going on with this health, and it's obvious. I've said in the past, it's being downplayed by the administration. They're not admitting anything because their survival depends upon him. If he goes, they go. That's how they look at it. Even if JD gets put in, he could have the pressure. JD's not him, which I'll get to in a minute. But no one's saying anything, right? There's no disclosure. It's not like you can't think in terms of that. And we can't think in terms of Biden, Obama, George W. Bush, George, H.W. But you can't think in Clinton. You can't think in terms of those times. This is nothing like that. This is uncharted territory. Again, the bullies and the inmates have from the aside, they are in charge. And a lot, I'm sure more than a few of them have feel that under a just and sane society with a functioning court of law and justice department and FBI, that it will be seen that they've committed crimes. So in the end, again, I feel that even if he passes, there'll probably be a time from when he passes, which I feel he's going to go in a whimper. Something with his ticker. I don't know what it is, but there's something going on with his ticker. And he's going to go over. He's going to go overnight. He's going to close his eyes and not going to open them. That's what I feel is going to happen. Which I don't wish. Again, I don't wish that. But if I did wish it, I won't say it. But it's like, come on, let's go. Let's get this done. Enough is enough. Yeah, wrap it up, buddy. Maybe he's hanging on to see his $200 million ballroom finished. He just wants to have one ballerina twirl, right in the middle of his ballroom. I could wait that long. Yeah, as the government shut down, they're working on that fucking ballroom. Sorry. So, again, I feel like he's not just what I feel. I think a lot of people, more than a few people, intuitively feel he just doesn't look good. He's not acting well. He's mental and I've said many times, as his physical deterioration increases, so will the degree of chaos that's exuded from him and his administration will increase, directly proportional. X over Y equals 1, right? As one goes up, the other, directly proportional. Yeah, X over Y. One goes up, the other goes up. One goes down, the other goes down. Yeah. Which will also explain the fact that when he goes, whenever that is, a day, a month, a year, 2 years, whatever it is, the overall collective degree of felt and experienced chaos within our nation and the world will decrease. You'll be able to know it. You'll be able to know. You'll be able to tell. No. Anyone who doesn't completely is like completely heady and you can't, if you could feel a thing, you'll be able to know. It'll be like a collective breath of fresh air. And that's where I feel this is headed to a degree. As this, it looks like he's bringing us into doomsday. He's just taking the Titanic. He's going to take us all down with it, the whole country. I had the thought as I was thinking of that. Like the collective, I'm sure there are people, because you see it all over the social media, not social media, but YouTube, this and that, is he going to just destroy us? America's going to be finished? Well, if it went on indefinitely, they found some, because I honestly don't think that he's doing a lot of the things that are happening. I think it's Miller, mainly Miller. Russ Vogt, he's probably more, involved in the nuts and bolts of it, but the actual just, Joseph Goebbels, Heinrich, him, that inner malice that's being wrought upon the collective American people. I feel that's stemming from him. Strongly. I've said it months ago. In multiple videos. He's in charge. He's running it. This chaos. It's like the villain in the movie gets the reins. And gets to be in charge. Where usually it's a superhero defeats the villain before that happens, but now the villain's in charge. And some of it's coming from Trey. Not much. I don't think at this point, I doubt is probably 90% of what goes on he has no idea about whatsoever. And the 10% that goes on that he does know, it involves probably 90% of that 10% involves some interior decoration project. Right? Or him getting money from another government. That's probably all of it. But stuff like that, he's like, yeah, do what you want. He probably said a long time ago, do what you want. I don't give a fuck. I'll deal with it. If I'm presented with it on the camera, I'll bullshit my way through it, like I do everything else. So, yeah. And he knows he's on his way out. You see just all the clues you get. And just looking at this Israel-Palestine, Hamas deal that just happened. Awesome. Don't get me wrong, awesome. But was the last 20 living Israeli hostages who have been freed? Oh, thank God. And something like 1,900 Palestinians were freed and sent to Israel? Great news. Great. Why is this happening now? I think, and feel fairly secure in saying, that the reason this is happening now is because Trump wants to get into heaven. And I mean that jokingly and equally seriously at the same time. He wants to get into heaven. And he's finally put his foot down with Netanyahu. That this is done. This is going to happen now. Enough is enough. He wants to get into heaven. And he feels that brokering a peace deal there will get him into heaven. Hey, if that's what it takes to get it done, great. Right? But in the end, I feel that. I strongly feel that. And that is, again, it's in a way, it's his sense of his own mortality that's coming into play. And more people see things like they see things. People aren't stupid. Well, we're all different degrees of stupid, just like we're all different degrees of awake and intelligent. It's all a matter of degrees. But the majority of Americans, I feel they know that he's not well. Mentally, physically, obviously emotionally, he hasn't been well forever, but just mentally and physically, the two main traits that we look for in a president. The guy carrying around the nuclear codes. He doesn't seem to be with it, and he looks like shit. That's like the average Joe is looking at this point, I'm sure. Right? He's not making any sense, and he doesn't look good. What's going on? So, individually, collectively, we started to look at JD. And then you see it right there. It's right in front of your face. JD Vance. Just Dance Vance. He was on an interview with George Stephanopoulos the other day. Basically, George Stephanopoulos kicked him off the interview. He kept asking him questions about Tom Holman. And it's just the smug way that he lies and gaslights. Like everybody who he's talking to is an idiot. Where when Trump would gaslight you, or Trump gaslights you, he's like doing it kind of like, hey, I'm just one of you. I'm like the guy down at the end of the bar. Yeah, Yeah, I'm just telling you, no, that's not the truth. That's not the truth. Whereas JD does it like he's standing on top of the bar and talking down at you. Oh, how could you not know this? This has been... And you look at him like, fuck it. First of all, I don't like you. Right? Because you're condescending and you seem to be a smug prick. So I don't like you. And because I don't like you, I really don't care about anything you say. Whereas Trump, it's the opposite. I like him. You know, again, he's the guy selling me the lemon car at the used car dealership. He could be lying to me, but I like him. He gives me a pat on the back, makes me feel good, makes a little joke, a little jab to the ribs. Whereas JD is just, no. So, again, I'm not saying that a JD presidential, you know, whatever it is, 3 years, 2 years, whatever it is going to be good. But he's not going to have the teeth. There's no way. He's not going to have the teeth. He's not going to have the sway with the American people, because Trump, when he goes, it's going to be like this, like the evil king dies and the fog is lifted from the land, so to a degree. It's going to be like that. This fog of like over the Republicans' eyes. You're going to see them. They're going to be like, holy shit, what have I been doing for the past 10 years? My head's been up this guy's ass. Pruning his inner ass hairs. Plucking them. Offered him toilet paper after he takes it out. They're all going to wake up. Point being is they're going to wake up. Certain of his followers will wake up. Certain won't. You know, and they're all going to flock to your, Nick Fuentes and all those people. They're just like hungry for more madness. But the majority of people, we're tired of the madness. And JD's not going to have. He's going to be, I think, a lame duck. And a lot of these things it's going to be slow. The reckoning, but a lot of these things, like what Miller's done, Holman, it's going to be the madness of the tariffs, all this corruption. It's going to be slow initially, especially until the Democrats take power. Then you'll see, and then it'll like really accelerate. But it's just going to be a long reckoning. It just is. It's going to be a long reckoning. And as I've ended one of my videos previously talking about, I don't remember which one, but it was talking about Tolkien, a scene from the Lord of the Rings. I think it was like the siege of Minas Tirith when the Rohirrim finally came, and I referred that to them, to the American people. Anyway, I think the video was in May, and I ended with that. The reason I bring that up is anyone familiar with J.R.R. Tolkien and his work, which is brilliant. World War I veteran, along with C.S. Lewis. I believe they were friends. And as if the horrors that we experience in life can sometimes just open our eyes to greater light. Tolkien, as well as C.S. Lewis, and I think there were others. There's a group of them. I don't know. Some didn't survive, I believe. But anyway, Tolkien in his, not the book, but he described this thing that was basically, he coined the term. It's called Eucatastrophe. And it's basically the opposite of a catastrophe. You know, a catastrophe being like when things seem well, or they appear well enough, and then all of a sudden the bottom falls out. Like 1929 stock crash, right? Or the soldiers going about on their Sunday, right before the Japanese started bombing Pearl Harbor. Their Sunday in Hawaii, another day in paradise. Then that's a catastrophe. You have 1 minute's one reality, the next minute's another reality. Well, this term that Tolkien termed was basically the opposite of that, because again, the universe is based upon opposites. So if you have one thing, there must be another thing. So he was basically saying this idea of a eucatastrophe was when things looked like they were just spiraling down and down and down and down and down and down and down, and like they couldn't get any worse. Right? Like inevitably this must lead to our demise. Our collective demise, individual collective demise. right? If we continue this path. And then all of a sudden there's just one thing that happens that turns this seemingly inevitable downfall and evil into like a rebirth. And in his books, the Lord of the Rings, that was when the One Ring was finally, dropped into the Mount Doom, into the fires of Mount Doom, the lava of Mount Doom. Gollum grabbed it from Frodo after he bit off his finger and fell in. And at that point, Sauron was undone, as well as were his ring wraiths, and the whole thing, like the earth engulfed his army, which was attacking the men of the West. And I guess I feel like I just feel so strongly that there's something like that's going to happen. It could be his dad. I don't know what it's going to be. It could be the Epstein files being finally released, and then all of a sudden that leads to boom, boom, boom. I'm not sure, but I feel we're headed towards something like that. Some type of a universal reprieve. And as I've said before, I've with some of these, I've said I pray I'm wrong. With that, I pray I'm right. It's been a rough go of it. So anyway, all right. Spoken enough. Lots of love. God bless. Bye-bye.